Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Hello there, this is Jeffrey Hinchy in Edmonton, Alberta. Now today I want to talk about buying a new or used vehicle. There's buyers who, for example, who might have won the lottery, and they essentially come down and they want to buy a vehicle and they have the cash in their pocket and they're going to buy that vehicle, and they probably don't really care much about the vehicle except for what they're getting in the service. And they can just write a check for it at that moment. Now, a lot of people are really payment buyers, but they try to pretend that they're not payment buyers. So they might have a line of credit in their home, and they may decide to use $40,000 or $50,000 of that line of credit. And instead of keeping it for a time, they might need it for something else, like a medical illness or something like that. And they will decide to come down and write a check for that and make payments at their super low rate, their interest rate. And they basically have taken their debt load and increased it and used the equity in their properties or assets in order to buy that vehicle. And they say that they're a cash buyer, but they're really not a cash buyer. They really have borrowed the money as well. And then we have the other class of individual who usually comes in with some cash down. They may or may not have a loan at this time. Sometimes they'll have an extremely high interest rate loan because the last time they bought a vehicle they were not primers and there was no prime lenders that would deal with them, and now they have this really high payment and they want to flip into a new vehicle so they can have a lower rate, which is often very doable once people maintain their loans for 1 or 2 years at the higher interest rate. Or they could be people who just want to buy a vehicle and cannot pay cash or take a line of credit against their equities, and they will want a payment and that's reasonable, and they want to drive a vehicle that meets their needs. Now, in most cases, there's always a cost to interest. Whether you be a person who uses your equity in your home to buy a vehicle and make that low payment rate, or whether you take a loan through another lender, there's going to be an interest cost. Now, sometimes that interest cost is subsidized by a dealership. So a dealership will go out and they will get a special rate from a lender, and that lender will say, if you pay us 5%, we will let you give free interest for so long, or we'll let you buy down the rate. So let's say the rate is a 10% car, auto, or truck, vehicle rate, then the dealer will buy that rate down to 4%. Well, who is paying that buy down? Ultimately, it is the consumer, right? I mean, there's nothing for free. I mean, a dealer can't afford to not feed his family. So what he will do is as the model years get older, he will determine to offer low interest rates or better interest rates, and he will go to a preferred lender and he will buy the rate down on that loan from, say, the 10% to 4% and then advertise that. Now, sometimes that buy down does not happen at the dealer level. Sometimes that buy down happens at the actual manufacturer level. They will put in an incentive because they want to move the inventory through the system so they can put new model year cars on the lots. They will offer the dealers better financial incentives and a lower financing. So in that case, the interest rate is bought down by the dealer. But at the end of the day, the consumer is the one that usually pays, because if there was not a lower interest rate, there would be a discount on the vehicle. The consumer always pays for these programs. Do not delude yourself that you're not paying. And, and it's fine. If you want to take advantage of lower interest rates or whatever, that's what, myself as a salesman is here for. We're here to broker a deal between you and the management. To take them a little less than what they want to go in order to meet your needs on a monthly basis. Now, if you're a straight up cash buyer, by and large, all I can do is assist you in getting the right vehicle, and then, it's a very, very simple process. You would come in, I would spend about 10 or 15 minutes with you, we would talk about what you want, we would show you a few models, we would try to narrow it down to a vehicle that you're happy on. When you're happy, I'm going to bring out a purchase and sale agreement, And if you've got a trade, we're going to take the information on your trade. And before I actually submit the deal, I'm going to go out and walk around your trade, and I'm going to find all the things that's wrong, because I want to keep my job. You know, I have to feed myself as like anybody else. And I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to take your purchase and sale agreement because you're a cash buyer. And then you're going to give me your MasterCard number or Visa number or a check for $5,000 or $10,000. And I'm going to take that deal to my manager. And I'm going to say this person's paying cash. How far will you drop your drawers today to sell them a car? How bad do you want a deal? And at that point, I'm out of it. I really don't have any sway at the management. I'm nothing more than a person who tries to make sure that you get the best vehicle that you can get at that moment. Now, if you're a payment buyer, it's really important that you tell me the truth. In other words, people will come in and they know they've got a problem. Because usually people who come in for used cars or even new cars with used cars have problems. Their vehicle's not starting in the morning and they're going to lose their job. Or their car is now off warranty and they're really, really worried that they're going to have a big maintenance bill and they have no credit left. They can't afford to fix the car. And they know if that car breaks that they can't get the $2,000 or $3,000 to fix it because all their credit's maxed out to the max. And they're worried that they're not going to be able to get to work and they're going to lose their job. So what happens, they come in the door, they've got a problem. And they will try to hide that problem from the salesman because they figure we're smarter than the salesman. You know, we're smarter than the salesman's bosses, and we're smarter than the salesman's owners of the dealership. The bottom line is they know exactly what they're doing. And, you know, we usually have dealt with enough people that we know there's a problem as well. So if you come in to see me as a salesman, over top of the hundreds of other salesmen in Edmonton, I would prefer if you're honest with me. If you've got no credit left and you've run your credit up to the max, but you've been making your payments and you're worried about your warranty on your car and you're worried about the fact it won't start in minus 50-degree weather, I just need to know that. And I'm going to tell my managers, this person's upside down on their vehicle, they're in a terrible state, what can we do? Because if I can build some empathy for you with my managers and make them go an extra mile, I not only have solved your problems, I've solved my problem of selling you a car. Now, if you're going to come in and lie and posture yourself, we're not going to get anywhere because I'm not going to spend time with you. Because basically, I have all kinds of other customers who are going to come in and tell me the truth of the problems that they have. And when they come in, I want to help those people. Now, from a personal point of view, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. I don't need to buy a $500,000 house. If I was sitting in a 50-foot living room in front of a $10,000 television, it doesn't do anything for me. I'm not a happy person. I like to have modest accommodations. I like to have a modest amount of money. I like to drive a modest vehicle. I like to make a change for people in their lives. But the reality is I have to make a living. And the best way for me to make a living is to sell you a vehicle. And the best way for me to sell you a vehicle is for you to tell me the truth about what your problems are. Why did you come into that dealership? Is your car not working? You want to have a better car? Do you want to have more bling? Do you want to look good in the neighborhood? Do you want, get a new girlfriend with this new car? Do you want to make your wife happy? Are you worried about your wife's safety? I need to know why you're in there. And when you put your cards on the table at the outset, I will put my cards on their table, on the manager's table. And I'll say, listen, this guy here, and I'll go to bat for you. And when I talk to them, they will know that what I'm saying is the truth. And that I'm not lying to them, because a lot of people don't realize that the salesmen sometimes in this industry work the managers as bad as the customer does. And managers don't like it. So if you want to have a good deal, and you want someone to be your vanguard for your next deal, you come see me, put your cards on the table, and I'll do everything I can do to solve your problems. Because you know what? If you had no problems, no desire for a new vehicle, you wouldn't be in there talking to me. It's about as much fun as going and have dental work done, isn't it? So, if you want a good, honest salesman, you come on and see me, and I'll take care of it.
Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old bandit run.